it's supposed to feel.
Hello, welcome to another NS9 Postgame Show. I'm Cody. That's Neil. The Buccos are 18-8 to start the 2023 campaign. We just took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. How do we feel?
Disbelief, I think, is the best word that I have. every single day, I keep waiting for that bucket to drop, and it never happens. It hasn't happened yet. And so, so happy, but I still can't believe what's going on.
Right. And I mentioned the same thing, I think, the last time I did a post game. I was like, keep waiting for that other shoe to drop. I thought it was when Cruz went out now he's out for 4 months, we know. I was like, they're just going to keep going now. What's stopping them? So now we got to just enjoy it until, that other proverbial shoe drops, apparently, and hopefully it waits.
And to be fair, I think even the Braves lost 4 straight at some point this year. I think they got swept by the Astros or something, and it will happen, and we're gonna be sad when it happens. But right now, it's really hard not just to enjoy the ride, where you can start Austin Hedges and Drew Maggi back to back in a lineup and win by 4 runs.
Right. That's got to be the first thing I saw this morning was, I looked at the lineup. First off, saw Maggi was in. I was like, okay, we're unserious right now. Second off, I think Kutch didn't start, right? And I looked at this lineup and I was like, what are we trying to win? No, Kutch did start. He was
Kutch started, I thought, yeah.
That's my bad. But no Hayes. I mean, just looking at maybe it was just seeing Maggi in there. I was just like, we're not trying to win this series right now. What are we doing?
Mark Mathias, Drew Maggi, and Austin Hedges.
Mathias was the other name. Mathias was the other name.
Miserable. It's and Marcano's batting leadoff. This was definitely a travel day lineup, and we put up 6 runs off one of the best pitchers in the NL. So,
and that was the best part about it. They're making the pessimistic fan in me eat his words, and you got to love it. But let's get into talking about the starting pitching. Mitch Keller. He's looking like a guy.
Mitch Keller, my beloved.
He might be the guy.
Yeah. I have been banging the drum of the Keller extension since about the All-Star break last year, and he just keeps delivering. He gives up those 2 runs in the first. Not a great start, and he just rallies for 5 amazing innings. And it really tells something about his mentality where he gives up 2 runs and then goes out and strikes the side in the second inning. And because last year and years before, those 2 runs, he's given up 6 on the day. And so not only is his stuff just incredible, but his mentality is so good.
Right. And it's to think that this guy, when he first came up, everybody was like, look at that body language. He's lost out there. Mm-hmm. To now being the guy that goes out there, gives you 6 quality innings and 10 strikeouts. I'm going to have to agree with you and agree with Jim, who tweeted, I think he tweeted it out today. It's time to extend Mitch Keller.
Yeah. No, I would use the Hunter Green extension that Green just got, maybe as a framework, maybe add a little bit more on there because you're buying out some free agent years. But no, he should be extended. And the fact that he just has 7 pitches to play with now, and he's confident in using all of them, and is getting his last year, he kind of reinvented his game as a pitch to contact pitcher.
Right.
Now he's dealing strikeouts and he's going deep into games and he's getting those quality starts. Before coming in today, he was still striking out 9 batters per 9.
Right.
So he has just been incredible, and whatever Oscar Marin has done, not only with him but this entire pitching staff, it's just been something else.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just not used to Pirates starters like being the guys to go 6 innings
Yeah,
and 6 quality innings at that. It's like just like we keep saying, waiting for that other shoe to drop. You know, they're gonna keep going, but it's getting to a point now that they're not the young guys anymore. Mitch Keller's been up and down for a couple of years. He's gotten used to the MLB, I think.
yeah.
Roundsy, another one. He's getting into it. And now Oviedo, who's I think probably has the least experience in his role right now.
Mm.
He's doing phenomenal as well. So just seeing that out of this staff is phenomenal.
It's hard to believe Mitch Keller's been in the league for 5 years now, but
Right.
he is fine. Like this year and last year, he's really put it together. And I don't know exactly when he becomes a free agent, but I would be locking him up before he even gets a chance to go onto the free market because he has earned it. And if that means giving out another $80 million, well, Bob, you said we weren't done, so
right. It's like, hey, you're gonna have to eat those words, Bob. I mean, you gotta keep your word. What are we doing here? Is Bob Nutting finally serious?
I until he proves otherwise, I won't believe it. But it's nice to hit the serotonin.
Right, exactly. So let's look at the rest of the pitching. Underwood came in for 1 1/3. He had a strikeout. Not giving up a hit. The rest of the guys didn't give up hits. Hernandez came in again for two outs, got another strikeout, and then Bednar closes us out. It wasn't a save situation, but he comes in, he gets some work, and gets a strikeout, and that was quick. Like I was getting ready for this. And I'm like, all right, I got a little time. Like we're in the ninth, and then all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, oh, I got to go get ready. Bednar just demolished the Dodgers.
No, just because I had to get home from work, and so I'm like, man, just extend the game, keep extending the game.
Right.
And then, no, the Pirates bullpen had no interest. Like, combined. No base runners from the last 3 innings. Just great work. And speaking of that, the Fangraphs has our playoff. We now have a higher chance of making the playoffs than the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hey man, I was in the trenches with some St. Louis Cardinals fans last night on Twitter, and I'm offended. They don't see us as a threat. They're like, oh, you got to be in contention for us to be the opposition. It's like, well, we're in the same division, pal. We're always the opposition.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress on that front.
I'm still there's just a pessimistic side of me. Is enjoying this so much, but I can't be sure call us contenders yet. But we're getting there.
Right.
But yeah. So, but back on track. The bullpen, fantastic work today. And
Absolutely.
Jose Hernandez, we're talking about Mitch Keller looking like a guy. Hernandez coming straight from Double-A and playing like this, he might be the guy. And I think I mentioned this in my last post game, but he's the only lefty. There's a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
And he not only has he not given up runs, he has improved on not getting hard hit today. Like early in the year, he was getting hard hit all over the park and still keeping runs off the board. Now he's putting it together, and it's really fun to watch.
Right, and he's a Rule 5 guy who came from LA. So this is a little bit of a revenge series for him, and he showed them maybe you should have signed me.
To protect
So good to see that out of the pen. And like you said, he's the only lefty. So when you're getting that out of the only lefty, I think you're doing pretty good. Let's move on to the hitting, and I got to shout out my boy Took with the bunt triple, the little league triple. I've done that myself. I'm a larger man, so all the errors help. But I was so happy to see that bunt triple. Just these Bucks offensively, just getting it done day in, day out, it seems.
It's really impressive how we manufacture runs out of nowhere. I think last night, that when we were just scoring the big innings of runs, we didn't hitting the ball far. We were just hitting singles. And
right.
And I keep baiting this drum, but last year's team just struck out so much it gave me a little PTSD. that like it's so nice to see us just put balls in play and watch what happens. And yeah, Marcano, his one hit, his speed getting us that one run, and what Reynolds immediately drives him in. And I think this is also a good point. Is like on top of that, we stole 12 bases off Austin Barnes this series. He could not stop us.
It was insane. I have never seen a Pirates team this aggressive on the base path.
Never.
And early on, I feel like a lot of people were like, what are we doing? Like, we're sending guys we shouldn't be sending. We're being too aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like you said, we have a series where we have 12 stolen bases.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's paying off. It's getting us runs. It's getting us in scoring position. It's giving us an opportunity to win games.
I think the Cruz injury is always going to make some people like a little apprehensive about it.
Right.
Just because of the nature of it. But like, I agree. Like, it's such a refreshing sight to see. And, it makes us fun, and it makes people like G1 Bay rosterable even when his bat is kind of not great.
Right. And I mean, we even saw defensively this series, he made that little league hop in center field, and I was like, what are we doing? That's little league error right there. But he's coming into his own. If he can become a decent player for this squad, and like you said, keep stealing bases like that when you're on the base path, you're going to find yourself on the MLB roster. So
the defensive flexibility really helps, and just being able to beat out infield hits for singles. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be like a great bat, but yeah, no, he definitely has tools. And, the fact that you can have him come in and play center field and remove Mark Mathias from right field, which I don't know if he has ever played right field before.
Who knows?
But be able to have that defensive flexibility when last year we were trotting out Hoy Park into right field and Bly Madris to the right, and Diego Castillo, who just can't field the position. It's a nice change of pace.
Right. I mean, we keep banging that drum, right? Because it's early in the season, and we're just happy to see guys playing positions that we know they know how to play, Yeah. And last year we didn't get that. So
the bar was so low.
Yeah, it was so low. I mean, and then, we got to talk about speaking of the bar being low, let's talk about Drew Maggi.
Yeah.
Good moment last night. I know a lot of us in the NS9 crew were like, okay, he got his moment, send him down.
Yeah.
He kind of proved that today, went 0 for 3. Had decent at-bats, but I think it's time to move on. It's time for us to get serious. What are your thoughts on Drew Maggi?
Very happy for him. Glad he got his MLB salary and all that.
Right.
Happy that we won a game where he had started and that he didn't make any defensive calamities at third base. Have a good career, man.
Right. And like I'm at the point now, I'm convinced the only reason they've kept him up this long is so he gets the payday. It's kind of like just like a tip of the hat. Like, here you go. You've been in the league for so long now. Here's your money. So long. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
And the fact that we were able to walk out of there with a nice, comfortable win makes it easier to digest. Because like I was not thrilled to see him in the lineup.
Right. That was the worry at the beginning of the game, was seeing Maggi as a starter, and you're like, we're trying to beat the Dodgers right now. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I bet if you pulled up those lineups we rostered against the Dodgers when we swept them last year, they probably looked worse than today. So
right. Right.
But I think I tweeted out where it was like, what's the state of the National League where the best team can trot out Drew Maggi and Austin Hedges back to back and win games? So I mean, like,
right.
Who knows?
Right. We're just getting it done. So let's talk about the offense a little more. Yeah. Specifically, let's talk about Castro and Connor Joe. First, Castro, he comes in, gets 2 RBIs off of a home run. I mean, I feel like he just shows up when he needs to. Like, he's got a little bit of that clutch gene where he's just making the good hits where he needs them.
Yeah. And like I was seeing people like on Twitter like getting kind of frustrated with Castro and Jose respectively, just because like they started out so hot, that's just the expectation. So I think Castro had a pretty miserable last week or so, and he just really turned it back on in this Dodgers series. He's still hitting the ball hard. He's still coming through for us, driving in runs. Like, he's a really nice mainstay in the middle of that lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you just need that little bit of a spark plug. And like I said, he's getting the hits where they're needed. I mean, if he's leading off or something, he doesn't usually produce. I feel like when I'm watching a game, like he'll lead off or something. It's like, okay, he struck out, he flew out, he whatever. But when it's a part of the game where there's somebody on base or we need someone on with like 2 outs, seems like he's getting it done.
Yeah, and like he hit the ball 110 miles an hour. Like,
oh yeah,
he is seeing the ball really well right now.
Yeah, that was a big daddy hack.
And frankly, I would say so is the entire team. Like,
Right.
as someone who's like wanted Andy Haynes gone in the offseason,
yeah,
whatever he's been feeding these guys, it's amazing. Because like, you can kind of see what he was doing last year. Because last year we watched the Pirates like watch a lot of pitches, looking for the right pitch, but they were also giving them a bunch of quad A players to work with, so it was awful. Right. This year, you have guys like Connor Joe, Rodolfo Castro, guys you can really Jack Suwinski, who are good like platoon players who work. They don't have to play every day, but when they are in situations where they can succeed, it's really something special because they don't have to be the guy.
Right.
They're really thriving, I think, working together as a group, and it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, I want to bring up this comment because this is where I want to transition to. Even in slumping, Joe hit the ball so damn hard the last few games. And it's true. I mean, as a betting man, I've been like, okay, Joe's going to get a hit. He's going to get out of the slump. I'm going to put him in my parlay. And then, it doesn't really happen like that. But today, he got the home run he needed, I think, to get back on track.
Yeah. No, he did. And I think he was like really chasing a bit past, even like when he was hitting the ball hard. Like, he wasn't making like the best swing decisions, what I was noticing over the past week or so. But like, you can't expect these guys to be 180 WRC bats, like WRC plus bats. Like, it's just not going to happen. But the fact that they're able to come back after this slump and like still be contributing, like the team is balanced enough to where there are going to be guys hot at different times. So when Reynolds takes a step back, you can have Kutch step up. When like Baig slumps back, you can get Castro to step up. And considering like last year we were completely worthless against lefties because our entire roster was all left-handed, this was awesome. And like the offense really paid its due against some really good pitchers and Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, and Noah Syndergaard. It's shitty Noah Syndergaard.
I would say this. I don't have to transition, but like, I just couldn't believe this. Just witnessing this series where outside of a Colin Holderman collapse, we dominated the Dodgers. It wasn't close. Like, it was, and I said disbelief at the beginning of the show. It's kind of why I'm in disbelief, because I'm just not used to seeing a Pirates team dominate like this, especially against teams like the Dodgers.
Right.
So this offense was so good.
Yeah, I had friends of mine who are they're diehard Yankees fans since they were born, and they're texting me last night after that game, and they're like, "That was a statement," and I'm like, "Yeah, it was." That was a statement to say we're here. And I think today gives the same statement because, like we're saying, you put that lineup out there, nobody really thinks you're going to win. Yeah. And then you win by 4 runs. So I think it's time for everybody to wake up. Everybody needs to start putting the Pirates in their top 10 power rankings, I think, because there's a couple out there where they're not in them. So.
And I can't really blame them, because like not a single Pirates fan, not even the most optimistic Pirates fan that I knew, looked at this roster as it's constructed and say, "Yep, these guys will be 18-8 after 26 games."
Right.
9-1 in their last 10. Like, no one in their wildest dreams could have predicted this, but it's been a fun, dominating ride just to see us like impose ourselves on teams.
Right. It's just, this is the most fun. Even back when we were going to the playoffs, I think this is the most fun that I've had as a Pirates fan.
2015 still holds a special place in my heart. But yeah, like, I don't remember, and someone can correct me. I do not remember like even us going against good teams in those playoff years and dominating them like we were dominating guys like the Dodgers.
Right. Like I remember going into those games in those years, it was like, all right, we're facing the Red Hot Cardinals. Like we might lose this. Like we're on a roll, but we might lose.
Yeah.
Now this year, it's like, all right, we're going to face the Dodgers and we're going to show them who we are.
Yeah. And
like that's the mentality that has grown this season.
And outside of like 3 innings, it wasn't competitive.
Right.
And it was just, it's been a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to even put into words because I can't believe what's going on.
I love to see you all giddy about it, Neil.
Thank you.
All right. Well, any last thoughts on today's game before we get out of here?
I mean, I guess it's kind of fair to point out that the Dodgers were also kind of playing wounded. Just because I guess every single one of their players decided to get their wives pregnant.
All-Star weekend was a big weekend last year, apparently.
But I guess I think he deserves it. Jack Suwinski again keeps proving me wrong. And I am the happiest man in the world about it because he keeps driving in runs. He still keeps hitting. I think he got hit off Urias as a lefty. Driving in runs. Hats off to Jack Suwinski.
Yeah. And Jim here makes a good point.
Yeah.
Pirates were a little wounded too. No Reynolds in game 1 and no Cruz at all.
That's true.
So
hey, you won't hear me complain.
Right. So let's hope they keep rolling. They got Washington tomorrow night, 7:05 game. Not sure who's got the post game, but I know they're going to kill it.
Well, if we get a game tomorrow.
Is it supposed to rain?
The forecast is miserable tomorrow. I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll keep a lookout there. Hopefully you get to the ballpark, but
yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us, folks. We had a lot of people in here today. We really appreciate it.
For a 12:30 game, we have 41 live viewers.
Right. We got up to 45 at one point, I saw. I was like, this is a 12:30 game. What are you guys doing at work? You guys working or you watching this podcast?
Yeah.
But it's a good time. It's a good time to be a Pirates fan, and it's a good time to be listening to North Shore 9. So thank you, folks. Oh, we got Wireless Grape, so he's on his lunch break.
Those West Coast time people are so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, West Coast. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, anyway, we're going to get out of here. Neil, it was a pleasure as always.
Of course, always having you on.
Folks, be sure to watch everything we got on the channel. Be sure to be downloading the podcast as well. We got the vlog out. New Yinzer breakdown that I did today for Maggi. Whether you like him or not, I think it was pretty fair the way I broke it down.
And but I think Bucko Mike gave us a 5 out of 5 review for that vlog. So check it out.
Yeah, I loved the Bucko Mike review of the vlog. You got to take his word for it. It's 5 out of 5. So we'll see you folks later. And just 1 second here. Here's Jim's stupid face.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.